I can't even believe how good it feels to be able to know I can get up in the morning and I can do my recording and download it. So I feel super excited. So anyways, yesterday I had watched that one guy. It was on Inspired. And on Inspired, I guess it's a 3-part series. I don't know. I know it's more than one. But he's talking about the glass that you can look. And he said he's talking to a director or somebody who makes movies. I'm not sure, but I think he's a director. And they were doing a documentary or something or some kind of thing. You can go in and watch it. I only saw one part of this. And so I was just trying to put some pieces together. But so what he was saying was when he started making this, he had to do some investigation and some research into the glass that you can look. And he started finding out, it was a real thing and, all of this different stuff about it. So he was talking about, what they had found. And so what he said, and this is something else I had heard before, but it could have been that the TikTok person that I saw talking about 2030 and stuff, that could be that they saw this same thing and they were talking about it, because I didn't see the whole series. But I know the one guy I had seen on TikTok who was talking about all of the farmland being bought up and that this cataclysm that was supposed to happen by 2030 that they're hiding from us, because I think it has to do with the water rising. So anyways, he was talking about that too. I feel like there's a hair going right through my lashes. So annoying. And so he was saying that they found that there's going to be some sort of cataclysm. So when they found this thing out, so back a long time ago, when they figured out that they could look and see the future, the church, the Vatican, or they could see the past. The Vatican took it, they said, because they wanted to see if Jesus was real. They were trying to go back and look at that, and then it kind of disappeared or something. Then it would come back. So it was kind of like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, kind of like those shows are real. That's real. The fight between those I don't think you can say that word, but it's they use the swastika as their emblem, that they because Hitler was very into the occult and mysticism, he used the Vril Society with all the ladies with the long hair for psychics. That's what I've talked about before. I don't want to, because you can be bald and still have, it's tuning into yourself. You do have a third eye, but like I've said before, hair is kind of like an antenna. And so it kind of, it's like you get information. I don't know how to explain how it all works. I just know I've been being communicated with for my whole life. So, and I do know that with Hitler, he was using these long-haired women, Vril Society, and they would go in and talk to other beings, and he would get the information, and he was in search of these mystic, these powerful things that are here on the earth that have been left here from other beings. Like, I don't know, the Ark of the Covenant or something. There's big ones that have been being looked for, but who knows, because they could say, oh yeah, we're all looking for the original, what is that thing called? Like the independence thing, but they could be lied to. I just saw somebody the other day talking about another one of those has been found, some sort of amendment or something. So they take stuff and they hide it from us. And then they tell us, that we need to worry about something else. So, but it's those kinds of things that you hear about, like from the Bible and stuff, these things that hold power that they go out and search for. And so, Raiders of the Lost Ark, it was a archaeologist who was like going against the group, the Hitlers, and that, but also when you realize that the universities are a part of the group, it's almost like, it's hard to know if the cabal has a division, like two groups, like the Hatfields and the McCoys and their own group that is fighting each other for information, for more power. It's all about power for them. It's all about control. And they're losing power and control over us. That's why they're freak out. And, trying to massively wipe us out real quick while they've got a good hold on the kids. So, and you can see what a hold they have on the kids. I mean, just try and talk to one. I try and talk to my kids. They think they know more about history that I grew up in than I do. Like, it's weird. I don't know what. I'm so disappointed in myself that I sent my kids to school. I swear to God, I don't know what they were teaching them. It was definitely not teaching them listen to your parents. I'll tell you that. So, anyways, if they they're trying to keep the hidden knowledge from us, but the hidden knowledge is coming in for us, that's happening. I think that's why there's some of us, like they're telling stuff in, they're guiding us and telling us things. And so in the one yesterday, so the one guy who was talking about the glass, he said that they, it switched hands a few times, but at some point I think they developed something because it was like a bigger thing, and it had these things that would go over it and move, but somehow they could see into the future. You can see into other timelines. You can see other things and how they happen. And so what they started doing was they kept seeing that they didn't exist after 2030. They kept seeing there was they stopped existing. And I had heard before it was 2045, but I mean, it's hard to know anything with dates. So don't get caught up on dates, because they've messed with time and calendars so much, and they're messing with this this time space continuum. They know how to do this stuff by I don't know. They have advanced technology of how to do this. So somehow they decided they were going to go back and keep like flipping back in the beginning of the book and trying to rewrite it. Like, that's why we keep being like, it feels like we're in this Groundhog Day kind of repeat. It's not like every single thing repeats the same, just like in Groundhog Day. A little thing could be different here, a little thing could be different there. So there's things that are happening, but they are manipulating it so that they can try and continue or survive, or whatever you want to call it, their reign over human beings. And every time it comes out the same, that they lose. And so, and like I've said, it's written in the stars. They're gonna lose. There's no two ways about it. It plays out that way. But there's still people saying that, this, like I've heard it now explained, like there's a train, and, it's the splitting of the realities. It's going to go two different directions, all these different things. And I know the awakening really has a big part, but not everybody is here to awaken. Some people are just here for this experience or to help others awaken. So it's really hard to get too caught up in all of everybody's different experience that's happening. But when they started seeing that that they were going to end, and they started trying to switch it back, and no matter what they did, it kept playing out the same. So now it seems, let me see if I can keep it all straight. I would say if you really are interested in it, to watch that, and to also do a lot more research. There's a lot of stuff in the ufology kind of community about the technology, the hidden technology from us. So you can look up about that, because I heard about that glass a long time ago. So, and I think that is part of how, Trump could tell us what was going to happen before it happened, because they know what's going to happen. And I think that, moves are made, and then it's like waiting to see, so what are they going to do? Which way are they going to go on this? And that's why, some things, it seems so tedious how this keeps going. Like, why isn't it going faster? And but it is picking up speed. It is moving faster. Things are happening faster. But that doesn't mean like, so that guy was talking all about that. Then I went in and watched the Shirka. He was talking to the other guy live, and I thought it was going to be this guy was from the Alliance. But so there's a couple of different groups apparently. I know there is people who were like generals and stuff all the way back, like with Kennedy. Like that's why they killed him, was because he was going to release information about the hidden societies and stuff like that. And they were like, no, can't do that. So that group of like generals and stuff, they formed an alliance, and then they were kind of, their hands were tied. Like the beings, the people have become so powerful. They've infiltrated every aspect of our lives. So it was like a disease into our lives, and they had to start trying to remove it. And so, it's been a really, really complex thing to try and do that. And that's a whole part of why they had Trump come in, because he could pay for his own stuff and get him in there. But he was part of the whole thing. But I believe the main thing is the awakening. I think that's the main thing, is the awakening. I don't think I think there's going to be a shift in power we're going to see, but I don't think it's going to be like how I think people think it's going to be. Because the main thing that's happening here is the awakening, consciousness awakening. That is what everything is about. So so the other guy, Shirka, his show, and it was also a 3-part series, and I hadn't seen the other parts. I had just seen this one because the commercial caught my eye. And so I watched it. And this guy he's talking to, who's in hiding, who can't show himself, he is in a group called TLS. And so that group, it seems kind of like mercenary agents for the Alliance, but there's no association. Because I know NSA, the Alliance, there's like all these different groups that are somehow connected. But the guy talking said he wouldn't know like some of that stuff, the higher up stuff. You're only allowed to know what you need to know. It's like that need to know kind of basis. Because remember, this is all like espionage and stuff behind the scenes. Like the corporations run on espionage and spying on each other and stuff and killing us and all sorts of stuff. And so he was talking a lot about the technology and how more sophisticated it is, and how much more about consciousness there is. And that's one of the big things that they're trying to hide so much. And it is going to be more about the mysticism. He said everything is going to start coming out about that. And that is, he was the one who told me, and this is something I had talked about before, told me, I heard it on the show, that I kept referring to this because it kept being shown to me, but he said it. So he said, how I keep saying that we're in like a tunnel headed for the age of Aquarius. Like people are like, we've entered the age of Aquarius. Like this isn't, it's divided into kind of segments, he was saying. So, and he was saying that, okay, so he said that the age is like, we have the age of darkness, we have the age of light, and we have the age of love. And so in the age, we have ages. And to me, it's like transitional periods. So we had the part where we were in the dark, that we didn't know anything that was going on. We were just trying to live our lives. And it was showing who we were at our core. I mean, like I've said before, there's a lot of people who played the part of being evil in their lives, They made the choice to go towards darkness. They became greedy. They didn't care about people. So there's a lot of stuff, you come here to see, and you're in the dark. You're just kind of, to me, it was always, like I said, when I was 3, and I was going to put the soap in my brother's water, and they told me I was going to get in trouble. See, I've always had them telling me, like, oh, run, don't go in there and stuff. Like, I always had someone telling me. And I think that a lot of people just turned that off. They just didn't want to hear that. So they got more listening to their ego. And that's why this is an important time in human history, because it's getting balance back in there, and stop listening to the ego and start listening to the soul. But my soul was always screaming at me. So it doesn't mean I didn't make mistakes. I've talked about some mistakes I've made. I even put the soap in my brother's water. So, but I think that it has given me a lot of guidance to keep me out of like some serious stuff, where some people have gotten themselves into some pretty serious stuff, like not listening to their light. So in this period, so you go through the dark, the time where, you don't know what's going on, but you're still making choices. Like I said, with those, like the Asian people who will go out and kill their daughter because they could only have one kid and have a son. And they think, well, that's okay. It's all by intention too. Everything is by intention. It's what's coming from your heart. And that's why you need to really be clear with yourself. Like, what is coming from my heart? Am I being reactive? Am I being angry? Am I being resentful? Do I have a lot of garbage that I've been holding in coming out? Am I, aiming it towards this person because they're there? That's where we have to become mindful of our own actions and our own process of how we process things, and this is a lot of stuff happening for people. So in the time of darkness, when we were making choices and we didn't know, now we're in the time of light, the age of light, what I call it is like the bridge. It's like a tunnel that leads us into the age of love. But since he had described it like now we're in the time of light, where everything is being exposed, see, that makes so much sense. And all these light bringers, that came in, like I relate to being a light bringer that came in to bring the light, to bring other information to other beings, to help them remember, because all of the stuff is inside of us. We just have forgotten because we get caught up in the illusion of this life that they're selling. But everything is in there. Like, you have a treasure trove of information, you just cut it off. So, there's some of us that came in to help people remember. So in the this time of the transition, I always talk about it like it's a tunnel, and it's leading us to the gates of the age of Aquarius. Like, we're in this transitional period. The age of Aquarius will actually be about the time of love, abundance, freedom, acceptance. This is going to be completely different kind of energies. But see, we are the creators of that. We have to heal to get to that. So, and he was talking about that. He was saying that they are projected to be like 170 years from now. And he said it can come at any time. And that is another thing that I've heard over and over and over, is from different communities. Like I've said before, always try and go to all different communities for your information, and then look for the crossover. What information do you find from all the different communities, and put your own story together. But so in the, I heard about that there was going to be this, let's see, the 170 years that it's our energy is what changes. And like I said, I'm always shown like this wave. When I try and see into what they're showing me, I see a wave of energy. Like it looks in my mind like water, but it's energy, and it's building. And the more it builds, the higher it goes, the more people awaken, and that energy, when it crashes back over, that is going to be where I think, it's going to be a process. People are going to go through anger and sadness. And, there's people who are finding out about stuff right now who are really distraught about it. So we're going to go through a period. Plus, what I've said, when people start realizing that they were killing their family members on purpose and their families didn't need to die and stuff, people are going to freak out. Like, we're going to go through a period of time of pain, a lot of pain. The light will bring pain. But that is something that when you've gone through some serious things, and you think like, this is it, it's going to take you down, I'm not ever going to get through this, like getting a brain injury. And you see that pain brings growth, that the pain and suffering is going to bring us into a whole new state of being. So, it seems like a bad thing, but it's really a good thing. So, and that's why you can't be judgmental over good and bad. There is no good or bad. It all works together. It works in union to create life. So in this process of going through this tunnel, like I would say, now I'm going to say it's more like a bridge, because there's light, so that you can see the baggage you're carrying, and you get an opportunity to release it and work on you and see, like, why do I hold on to this stuff? Why do I get triggered because somebody says this? Why do I care what they think about me? Why do I feel this way? Why? This is where we need to go in and turn everything back on ourselves and try and understand ourselves. We don't need to understand or fix anybody else. That's out of our hands. And it will just lead to frustration and anger, and you can't do anything to fix anybody else. So it is everything that happens, instead of thinking like, oh, they're a jerk, or think, why does that affect me? How is that affecting me? How can I release this? What is it that I'm holding on to? What do I have hidden in me that is burdening me? Because all of the things that we hide, that we pack down when we're a little kid, oh, we got hurt, and all these pain and suffering that we carry will manifest into illness and stuff. We have to release this stuff. So, but it hasn't been taught. This world has been to keep us sick and in suffering so that they could profit off of that. But, this is a time of enlightenment and empower, and to understand those, what has been held back is something that can benefit you, and how you can learn to reprogram yourself, so that you can get into a healthy state of mind. Because your state of mind, it reflects your reality. So it's important to, be pure and clean, and take care of yourself, and love yourself, and accept yourself, and, to release yourself from so much. I mean, it's so easy as somebody who, you go and you do something, you hurt somebody, like as a mom, you have hurt your children by saying something that you didn't even realize that you had said something that hurt them. And they hold on to this, and it eats at them and eats at them. And, they say it to you, and then you get mad at them, and it starts this back and forth, like, angry kind of scenario. And, a lot of older people start feeling a lot of resentment and bitterness. I just saw this guy who was explaining it so well about with older people, and when their kids are rejecting them and stuff, and how they begin to feel, like they put their whole lives aside to raise these kids, and then this kid doesn't even like them or appreciate them. It's like, I gave up everything to try and give you a good life, and you don't even see it. But see, that's the stuff that they've done to cause generational turmoil. In schools and stuff, they taught kids different than what they should have been, so that would create this turmoil. It ages people, it puts them on medicine and stuff, and people go around carrying so many burdens and so much resentment and so much anger, and but when you start stepping back and you start healing those things, you feel a lot better. That doesn't mean that I didn't hurt somebody ever. It just means that I've accepted myself, and I've allowed myself to make mistakes, and that I can be open to, I'm not perfect. That's just, I'm just a human being. I'm here to learn just like everybody else. We're here to learn and understand ourselves. If you continually make a mistake over and over, and you become abusive towards somebody, that is, at some point you're going to have to look at yourself, especially if you want to cross this bridge and into the age of love. Because you can't get through there, I'm telling you, when you're holding baggage. It's not going to be a doorway where a lot of people can just jam up there with their bags and I'm coming in because it's a different vibration. You can't hold on to that stuff in that vibration. You have to purge that stuff out. You are lifting, you're raising your vibration to meet the standard. But if you're holding on to that stuff, you are of a low vibration. So it is important to do your healing because it raises your vibration. And it makes, your time going across this bridge, the age of love, you are more of helping others, kind of holding up a lantern and giving people guidance so that they can heal and release their own baggage and that they can move into the age of love. Because when we get into the age of love, it can't be a bunch of pain, and suffering and stuff. Then it would be just like our ages of darkness. It's a time where we take responsibility for ourselves. We're empowered. We understand that our choices have effects on other people. And when you tune into your spiritual self, you tune into that, your inner knowing. That's why I said, I don't need to have a governing force. I don't need police. I know how to live and I know how to treat people because I've turned that on inside my internal. You can't go against your inside being. If you do, it will haunt you. I mean, there's plenty of people who go do bad things and they're haunted by it, and they don't know how to release it. They don't know what to do once they become haunted by their own actions. And the whole thing is just remember, it's all about healing. And there's always redemption. Redemption is a beautiful thing that everybody has an opportunity to use. And it's like a transformation of the energy. It's like you take the energy and you turn it into something good. And you don't have to go to the same person. Like you have somebody who's never going to speak to you again because you fucked them over, whatever it is. I mean, we've all fucked each other over in many crazy ways. So whatever it is that, you can't go in and fix that, but you can turn things around and you can start helping other people, maybe if it is, you slept with your best friend's husband and she's never going to speak to you again and it haunts you and you can't believe you did that and he didn't even like you to begin with and it was all just a game and whatever, all of the different dramas that occur. So, and you can't fix it with her, but there's other things that you can do. Like, you can, speak to young girls about the importance of loving themselves and not putting themselves into situations where it's going to go bad like that. Like, I don't know. Everybody has different things that become available to your life. So be open to it because your soul is once you say, okay, yeah, I want redemption. I'm ashamed of some of the things I did. I want to do better. And you put that out into the cosmic universe, it will bring it back to you. It will open up doors for you to have opportunities to, to turn that energy in a different direction. It doesn't mean you're going to be able to fix things with that person, but you can definitely fix things with the collective, with the, everybody. And, you have to just go in and look at yourself like, why did I do that? Why was I so desperate? Why did I, blow over? Why did I screw over my friend? And this is so common. I mean, this is so common that this happens. And so it is something to just go in and look and try and figure out like, why would I do this? Why, and don't just go to the surface. That's the thing. People want to just go to the surface and, oh, well, she was blah, blah, blah. He was blah, 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 whatever. There's a reason why we do the things we do. And it is inside of us. It's what is giving us guidance. It's what you need to tune into in order to understand yourself. And so you got to be truthful with yourself. Like so many people go to counseling and they're like, well, I'm in counseling. I've done counseling for years. But they go and sit in their counselor and just try and, tell them how great they are and they don't have any problems. They're never honest. if you really want change in your life, it's being honest with yourself. That's the difference of like, you know, with addicts and stuff. When they really want to change, they can make a change. It is, anybody has the power to change what they don't want, to change their lives. But you have to find out like how to empower yourself. Like, why do you hold yourself back? Why do you think that you can't do something that you can do? And so, you know, it all goes back into these deep-seated wounds that we carry. And that's why we're having this opportunity, the age of light, so that we can see. But it is showing us what this world is. This world that we've all, you know, tried to exist in, and how toxic it's really been for everybody. It's being exposed because it's the time of light. So, you know, seeing what this world is part of it. It's a hard part for a lot of people. I just, I see it as, you know, it's just part of the work to get there. Like, you know, once you recognize how evil these people are, you know, I mean, to me, you don't have to keep watching. Like, my mom won't stop watching. Like, it's driving her crazy, but she can't stop herself. She just is like obsessed, and then she gets all upset. But, you know, I think there's a component to releasing and seeing like, okay, and then what am I supposed to do with this information? What am I supposed to do? And but see, she's religious. You know, she's waiting for whatever, all that stuff that it says in the Bible is going to happen. But, you know, the Bible was manipulated by the Vatican. So they manipulated it. So, yeah, I mean, there's truth in there, but there's a lot of fiction that I think what they did, a lot of the stuff, you know, with all their translation, they took out a lot of information. That guy on the show yesterday, he was talking about that the religious books, which, you know, if you're looking at a translation, you're not seeing the original. But if you look at the originals, he said that the real messages aren't written with the black ink. They're written in the white. It's the opposite of, so there's messaging through these books, but it is written in between the letters. Like, it's all in symbols and stuff. It's very complicated, but he said it shows you the truth. And the truth that is going to be coming out, he said, is about the mysticism of the world. And that is what I understand about. And so I agree that this is a time, this is a transition where people are going to start understanding that everything that they thought of as supernatural was really just the hidden truth. And the mysticism of energy and how everything works and your soul and stuff. And he said, we're going to go into a time that is going to be super spiritual. Everybody is just going to be focused on their spiritual growth. And that is, I completely align with that. I completely agree with that. And he said too that the Men in Black were real. Of course, we knew that. But then they had to change it once the movie came out, and they became, I think they're called the DAC, something like Death Assassins and Cleaners, something horrible. But that's what they are, just here to, you know, shut people like me up, to, you know, go around and, you know, keep control of the situation. So, you know, who knows? I'm sure it's not just me. I mean, there's way too many of me's now. I'm sure they go more for like the Assanges and, you know, the big whistleblowers out there, because I'm still in the group of where people think I'm just a crazy person. But, you know, everybody's going to start seeing the truth soon. And anyways, you know, see, he said some more stuff. I would totally recommend going and watching either of those series. But for sure, once you see the evilness that is being done, you don't have to watch every single thing. You could just focus on you and focus on your growth. And, you know, for me, I know it's hard because, like, right now, I mean, this loud and the attacks with these frequency things, you know, and then plus just knowing like they still have control because this is going on. It's frustrating. So you are working against a lot. I mean, people have got, their brains are being scrambled. It's hard to think and process. And, there goes the planes. Yesterday, all of a sudden, it started like drizzling. It was very drizzly. It was weird. And then there started being thunder all of a sudden. And it hadn't been any warm. It had been cold, cold, cold. But it had been these planes going over. And then all of a sudden the thunder. And then the thunder sounded like bombs again. It sounded like explosions again. So in the thing yesterday, I saw which one of them. It might have been both of them. But I've heard this so many times, and I always was like, nah, we're not going to go that far. Now I'm thinking it could go that far. It could be what they're setting up here in the sky, is the fake alien invasion. That's right up there on the table now, I think, especially with all of this stuff they're doing up above us. And that is, one of the guys was saying about the fake alien invasion, and they're going to, I've heard the same stuff so many times. So they will come in the ships, which, Psychic LJ, when she was Google searching on Google Maps, she did that whole, I don't even know if it's still up, but if it is, you can go in and look. And she was doing Google Maps over Ukraine, and she found a whole bunch of ships, like the regular looking spaceship that we all would think of from the movies. And and we know that place is run by evil. So if they came in and, put soldiers in there and then came out and started, bombing us, and they're setting all of this activity up in the sky, they very well could do that. And this guy was saying, and I've heard every time, it's because they want us to think we're being attacked by somebody, so we run to them for help. So what can we do? And so we get, herded into wherever they're going to put us next. So you don't want to, anything that comes and any ships that come and start shooting, that's definitely not truly aliens, because aliens are advanced beings and they don't use weapons like that. The whole attack on us with the frequencies, they use frequency laser weapons and stuff. They know how to use frequency as a weapon, and that's what these people who are using it against us are trying to do to us. So there will be a shift. It's not okay what they're doing, and I don't know how it's all going to go down if they are going to fake some sort of alien invasion, and then think we're all going to run to them like, oh, save us from the big mean aliens. But really, we're running into the arms of the murderers who are the ones trying to kill us. So, I say any kind of alien invasion that happens, just know it's your government is attacking you. And, you do have to keep yourself safe, but definitely don't run to them for what to do next, because it's not going to be what it would be the smart thing to do. The smartest thing to me, I just keep seeing it as, like, I thought being rural, I would be more away from the towers. And when they were talking about that they were putting that one in, and all the people, that's when I was on next door. And I know I talked about this before. And I was like, well, we don't want those out here. And, this is going to be great for our cell service. This is going to be so wonderful. I'm so excited. We're going to have great cell service now. It's like, no, we don't have. Cell service has not changed one damn bit. But the frequency definitely has. And so the people, I know that I have one that's nearby, and I know, like, when I drive down the hill, there's just like, when you get down to the farm where they had done the floods, oh my gosh, it's one, I think there's one at every mile. There's so many. I don't know why there's so many. Like, And but anyways, so being up here and being out from 30 miles, I thought, that would be kind of far enough to be away from, like some of the stuff they were doing, but no, it's not far enough. And I think that people need to spread out further across the planet. We need to move away from the cities. The cities were providing jobs to be a trap so people could go into the cities. But, there's people who've been living out in the mountains and for forever, and they've done everything they can to destroy those communities. What we need to do is start going out and rebuilding communities. We need to go out and start building communities outside of the cities where we do actually come together as communities, and we become independent from the controllers of the cities. And they can still come and try and spray chemicals. They can't put chemicals in our food if we're not buying the food from them. And, there's people who understand about growing and getting the seeds and making the seeds, and stop buying the seeds from the people who are messing with them. And so they could still come and spray us with the planes. But, if there's tons of different communities, that'd be pretty exhausting. They're running around trying to spray us all. So I don't think that they would be able to keep it up. I think, they're gonna keep focusing on the cities as long as they can, and people are gonna keep moving. But I've seen where all these people now are. What city did I just see? It was crazy. Somebody was showing footage of, and I don't remember if it was in Oregon or California, but it was a big city, and they were going around, they were showing it was just tents everywhere. There's so many homeless people there. Oh my gosh. It was like when I had seen it in Seattle, it was more spread out. Like I had seen the tent city before all of this stuff went down. There was always a tent city in Seattle, and it was huge. It was like a big town of just homeless people all living in tents under the bridge. It was huge. Like you can't even imagine how huge it was until you went, and like, oh my gosh, homelessness is a huge problem, way beyond what people understand. And but now Seattle, when you go, it's just everywhere. There's just tents, but it's not all so compacted like this. Where this lady was showing, she was showing footage. It was just block after block after block, just like a neighborhood, only all of these tents just lined up, and very homeless looking, just stuff everywhere. So but see, they're going into the cities. That's the mistake. Why are people going into the cities? You don't need the job. Why would you go there? The cities are only for job traps. It's like everybody goes to try and be near the job so they don't have to drive so far. They offer jobs as the carrot that dangles, the good life. Come this way. We've got the good life for you, and being out, living like as a farmer sounds like, oh my God, that's the boring life. Why would I want to do that? That's work. I'd have to really work all day to feed myself and take care of myself. But the thing is when you get out there and you build these communities, it goes back to, people getting together and socializing and, interacting, and people bartering and helping one another. So it's a completely different way of life. It is the actual life of freedom. I did this, and oh my gosh, it's really going crazy. I don't know what viral is, but I have a couple of TikToks that are really blowing up. This one is like, I don't know, it's well into 300,000 views. There's people, I don't know, 30,000 comments or something. There's so many. It goes so fast, I can't even keep up with it. But the cool thing is all these people are conversing with each other. And one thing, and I hadn't even thought about this until I've read some of the comments, is people have forgotten. They have forgotten how they were raised and what had changed. And we actually, living back in the 60s, 70s, 40s, 50s, there's even people saying in the 80s, I'm not sure when it stopped, But when we were kids, you know, we were outside and playing all day. You weren't at home. You were never at home. You were out just on your own with your friends doing adventures. It really was like that movie Stand By Me or something, where it's just groups of kids out having fun all day doing stuff, you know, and you maybe was some getting into trouble and some were just, you know, everybody was just living, being free. And that is not like that anymore for kids. And so I had said something in this video, and it really struck home with a lot of people, but it's reminding people of how life can be. And that is what I'm saying is when we get, where we start building communities, it will go back to that kind of lifestyle where kids get to be out running around the neighborhood and living free and not worrying about, you know, a weirdo coming and taking them and stuff, because everybody's watching out for one another. And there's a trust and integrity, and there's when you build communities, it's a safeness. And so, you know, that's why they've destroyed communities. That's why they're, you know, progressively destroying communities to herd us into cities so that we are all there chasing this, you know, couple of carrots they dangle. And but when we build communities and, you know, change the education, why would we, you know, have our kids be chasing this piece of paper that, you know, is one piece of paper after another? It's all just to indoctrinate them to believe that they understand history and to hate older people. It's their biggest thing, is to just create this division. And so these pieces of paper, you know, I was like, I graduated, I hate all old people, you know, all the older people suck, they destroyed the world, and my piece of paper told me that. It's like, it's very frustrating. Especially I pushed my kids to go to college. Super frustrating. But anyways, you know, when this shift occurs, when people start really waking up and moving out from the cities, you know, I'm sure a lot of those homeless people are kind of stuck. You know, they don't have cars and they have a tent. I swear to God, if I was one of them, I'd be like, come on, guys, let's all put our tents on and let's hike out to, I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to know safe places right now because of so many problems, but I would just start going out towards places that were uninhabited. You know, there's lots of places up in the mountains that nobody knows. You know, when I lived in Spokane and you go out walking and stuff, you'd always find people had homeless camps set up in different places out by the river and the hidden parts by the trees and stuff. That's where people need to just move out further, get closer to a water source, learn how to take care of themselves until everyone starts breaking free and we start building communities, you know. I see that as being the only way forward. I mean, people can see it how they want, you know. People think like, oh, well, we can go in and we can fix the education system. Why? What is there to fix? Why do we need it? We can fix the government. We just got to vote the right people in. Why? They've already showed us our vote doesn't matter. Why would we do that? It doesn't make any sense. I don't need someone to tell me the rules. I don't need somebody to govern me. Why, you know, oh, well, we need the hospitals. Why? People were surviving for centuries without them. Like everything is an illusion that they told you what you need. You don't need it. It is all part of the control. You know, they create the problem and offer the solution. That's how they work on everything. That's why they will do their alien invasion. Create the problem and then offer a solution. That's what they do. That's what they're doing about Jada and the hair thing. Every single thing they do, just start looking and paying attention to that kind of stuff and you'll see it. It will become clear to you. It isn't like I'm not crazy just making this stuff up. It becomes clear when you're looking for it. People just don't know what to look for. They're looking in the wrong places for the wrong things. So all I can say is, you know, I know that we will be developing ourselves and developing communities in a new way. And it will go back to that time of freedom, of when, you know, kids could run free in the streets and play and, you know, play silly games, you know, like there's just so much that has been robbed from kids, and the way that they've used it to really trap their consciousness onto these devices. And, they're just trying to level that up. They're just hardcore going in, and they've all had us all trapped, all of our consciousness trapped in their reality. And it's up to each of us to pull free. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.